السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعد. Welcome everyone. Last day we spoke about welcoming of Ramadan and the fact that Ramadan is Ramadan regardless of the situation. Inshallah, the theme that I have been given is the topic of Ramadan itself. And I want to look at it as a bit of a checkup for all of us. Every time I come, we'll check in and perhaps some tips and some little snippets for us to be able to maximize and get the most and juice this Ramadan out, to get the most out of it, inshallah. So last day we mentioned that Ramadan is Ramadan, irregardless, we can go to the masjid, we can't go to the masjid. Ramadan comes with all of its benefits, and we mentioned some of them. Now, alhamdulillah, we are at approximately day number 8. And around this time, this is a time that usually most of us, even when we have access to the masjid, a lot of people we see some of the lines slow down, and people tend to lose momentum in the month. And that is the topic for today. We want to talk about maintaining momentum. My dear brothers and sisters, this is a time of the month that we have to start to ask ourselves, am I fasting as I should be fasting? Am I keeping away from what I am supposed to be keeping away from? Am I reading the Quran as much as I said I would have read? Now is the time to ask ourselves this. Now is the time to ask ourselves, are we praying all our sunnah? Are we praying? Are we doing the extra adhkar as we said that we would? Now is the time to do so. Now is the time to introspect, because almost a full 10 days of Ramadan has gone, which we will not get back again. But now is the time to look at it, because if we don't do it now, the entire Ramadan can leave us and just pass us by. Now is the time that even the most experienced of us sometimes fall back and slip back. And we want to check upon ourselves and make sure we pull back our Ramadan to get the most out of it. My dear brothers and sisters, just want to mention today a couple of ways that we can, a couple of tips that we could use to be able to get the most and to maximize our ability to maintain momentum in this month. First of all, my dear brothers and sisters, I want to mention, and this is always at the beginning, the scholars have said that this particular action is something that you check before you start an action. And this not only goes for Ramadan, but for almost any action that we do. The first thing that we do is we check it before, during, and after. And that is our niyyah or intention. My dear brothers and sisters, our niyyah or intention will determine our response and the way that we go about with any action. And more importantly, it will also determine our reward. As the Prophet ﷺ said in authentic hadith, that actions are judged by intentions. So if it is that we have our intention set and we have our goal set, then passing through Ramadan with the right intention, it will make it much easier for us. My dear brothers and sisters, now is the time to recheck our intention and make sure we're doing it for the correct reason. We're doing it for the sake of Allah. We're doing it to be able to get the most out of our Ramadan, because this is Ramadan and we are going to get the most out of it because of the potential benefit that Allah has placed within it. My dear brothers and sisters, number one way to maintain momentum, check our niyyah. Number two, the second thing that we want to keep in mind when trying to maintain momentum in the month of Ramadan is remember that Ramadan is about habit forming. What do I mean by this? My dear brothers and sisters, Ramadan is a training ground for us that when we leave Ramadan, we can continue doing some of these actions. That perhaps Allah says in the Quran, that perhaps with the fasting and all of these things, that perhaps we may attain taqwa. And taqwa, my dear brothers and sisters, is a habit. Taqwa is not a switch that we flip on and take off. Taqwa is a habit. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the month to be able to maintain this habit and build this habit. I just want to give one little tip, right, with regards to building habits within your month of Ramadan. And this is a trick or a tip with building habits that some of the experts in the field have given. And this is something called habit stacking. My dear brothers and sisters, how habit stacking works is very simple. It means taking a habit and adding it to a habit that you already have. Very, very easy. So for example, if every night you go and brush your teeth before you go and sleep, that's a habit you already have. Then you say, okay, after I brush my teeth, I will say my dua and then go and sleep. That's such an easy habit there. So that you have a mental note, okay, as soon as I brush my teeth, the next time I'm going to do say my dua. That way, you stack that habit along the other one, and it becomes an easy routine for you. When I get up in the morning, it's suhoor, I will read a page of Quran, or I read a couple of verses of Quran. Stack that habit there, so that no matter what happens, you know, after suhoor, that's your Quran time. So no day will pass without your Quran going there. You understand what I'm saying? For another example, every day at a particular time, I would carry out the garbage for the men, or for the women. I will cook. While I'm cooking, I will say some dhikr. While I carry the garbage on the way, I will be saying some dhikr, something. My dear brothers and sisters, very easy tip, and this is something that we could use to be able to build our habits in the month of Ramadan. Habit stacking. Try it. It really works. Another thing that you want to mention and that you want to be able to use to be able to maintain momentum during the month of Ramadan is daily introspection. Now I mentioned that, you know, this is day number 8 and we should be doing introspection now. But ideally, my dear brothers and sisters, if we really want to get the most out of Ramadan, every single day we will do a check and say, okay, have I done X, Y, Z? When tomorrow comes, have I done X, Y, Z? If I haven't, okay, what am I going to do different tomorrow? Daily introspection is very important and can be very helpful in maintaining momentum during the month of Ramadan. And in addition to this, and this is a very good tip as well, right? And this really helps as well in being able to do this daily introspection, is perhaps putting up a chart. You know, don't head up on a chart. Okay, day number 1, 2, 3, 4, go down the road, read day number 8. So you can start from there. Okay, I said I'm gonna read 1 page. Did I read by 1 page? Take it off. If not, you know, okay. And basically what you're doing, young people know about this, is something called streaks. Is that okay? You're on a 3-day streak, you're going. You want to make sure, right, I'm reading my page of Quran every day. You want to maintain that. It has been proven that this type of streaks and so on, it builds your motivation to do more. So perhaps this is something we could do to be able to maintain the momentum during the month of Ramadan. I just want to mention 2 more things before we close. And one of them I want to speak about, well, let me mention the first one, which would be with regards to everyone, which is making dua. And this is one that everyone can work with, right? Make dua because Allah is the one to be able to make you consistent in it. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah provided the month of Ramadan as a training for all of us, and He is the one who can give us the ability to go through it with the full benefits of it. My dear brothers and sisters, dua. And we already know the specific time to make dua, which is one of your coming up just now, which I'll mention just now. Make dua to Allah to make us consistent along the way. And the final point I want to mention before I wrap it up, I want to mention, and this is especially for our women folk, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear sisters in particular, our dear mothers, our dear wives and mothers, it can be a little more challenging when you have to cook, and when you have children, and when you have this to see about and that to see about, to be able to maintain that momentum. All of us would set goals at the beginning, but because of all of these different additional tasks along the way, it becomes extra difficult, extra tedious. My dear sisters, do not lose hope because of this. You also can maintain momentum. What you need to do is you need to be able to, for example, if I'm cooking, I can say dhikr. If I'm seeing about the children, I can also say dhikr. Maybe you could use technology. For those who have little kids, you could use your phone and read Quran if you need to. Perhaps there are different ways you could work around. Perhaps you can get some assistance. Perhaps the father could cook one day. Perhaps the husband could cook one day. The wife gets a break, interchange, share the chores, make it easy for everyone. We have to work as a family in Ramadan. And yes, there's benefit if the husband had to cook. Yes, you get reward for it, and also for the wife. But we also want to share in ibadah, different types of ibadah. My dear brothers, help the sisters along to make it easy for them as well. And I just want to go back to the topic, and that'll be the final point. I just want to reiterate the point of dua. And this is the time that we have reached to make dua. Prophet ﷺ said that the dua at the time of breaking the fast is not rejected. My dear brothers and sisters, we have reached this time now, and the end of my talk today. I'm asking everyone to use this time wisely now. Put down everything, and make dua to Allah. Supplicate to Him and Him alone, and ask Him for everything that you want. And more importantly, ask Him to maintain momentum and derive its maximum benefit during this month. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.